Hit the record. Awesome.
Right.
Gary, man, it's good to have you. So obviously a regular Monday little get together we're gonna start having, posting to YouTube and kind of trying to give value and help those around us, obviously. What's
Yeah.
going on, man? Anything new?
Oh, all good here. Pretty chill these days. I mean, just working on like my business and connecting. This weekend was pretty good. I
That's
made
good.
some connections in New York, and so that was fun.
Like
What
potential
about?
clients.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. How'd that go? What are like some of the symptoms? How'd you guys get on the subject?
It was probably mostly like digestive related.
Okay.
I was at an event actually in New York, with like an opening of a club. And so my wife did some work there, and I was just there to support her. And then I got to talk to a lot of people, and that was cool. So they asked me what I'm doing. So I told them about the iridology and all of that, and then
Yeah.
dove deeper into the whole health topic. So that was fun.
That's awesome. You know what's so funny is like as I progress as a health coach in general, it's more so like now I want to like you got me really into like iridology. Like
Hmm.
I was so fascinated by it. And then now I start to see it and I'm sure you'll so like I'm a paramedic and they said like when you start like learning IVs, you're gonna be looking at everyone's, veins and being like, man, I know I can get that. And now it's like you look at someone's eyes and you're like, man, I just wish I could get a closer look. You know what I mean? See what's going on, like to help you. So that's something that I plan on, moving towards as well. So
Oh, cool. Yeah,
we had a
definitely.
really good
If
session.
you want to dive into that, let me know if you need any recommendations, etc. So
Yeah, I
I can
appreciate it, brother. How did
things.
how did you end up getting started in iridology? Were you had someone read your eyes?
No, actually, I learned about it at the Woodstock Fruit Festival in 2016. And I just happened to walk by someone who did readings for the people there. And I just stopped and looked and just observed him for a while and doing that. And I was super fascinated by it because he could tell the people so much about themselves without knowing them.
Right.
Like, dude, what is this magic?
Literally.
I,
Like
I
witchcraft.
couldn't
Yeah.
do it. So after that, I started like buying books about it, studying it, and then practicing on my friends and family. And then I did the like intensive course with Dr. Morse in 2018, which was really, really cool.
He's
Uh,
awesome, dude.
yeah, so I did that in person in Florida, which
Okay.
was fun. And then now I'm studying with a really amazing and lovely teacher in Australia. And yeah, her knowledge about the whole topic is very profound. I think with Dr. Morse, you get like a really good introduction into it,
Mhm.
but then he also has like some insights that I think are a little outdated.
Yeah.
With this new teacher, her name is Tony Miller. You get a lot of the new research in this field and also a much deeper understanding of the interconnectedness between the iris and our personality, which is super fascinating.
And that's the craziest thing as like research like continues to go on, you're just like blown away by it. Because iridology alone is amazing, but then it's like you learn more about it.
Yeah,
But for you, I don't know, there was things that you pointed out to me that I'm like, how could you possibly know that? You know what I mean? But the
yeah.
eyes are the window to the soul, man. It's crazy.
It
So
is. I'm literally every time I do a reading on someone, I'm like blown away and like as excited as they are by
mhm.
getting these things like confirmed by them, you know?
Yeah, you're like, I'm right. I'm right. I'm learning. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So how long have you been doing iridology now?
For the past 7 years, I would say.
Okay.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
what got
Still
you
learning
into
more and more. Sorry.
yeah, I can imagine. No, you're good. So I'm curious because it's been 7 years. How long have you been? Have you always been like vegan based, raw vegan? I mean, what was like really the turning point for you?
So actually how everything started for me personally was I never liked the taste of meat. Like
Yeah.
my entire life, I never liked it. But you know, like how that goes, like as a kid, like you're forced to eat what's on the table, kind of. So I was always like really rebellious about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would sit at the table for an hour because I would not eat the meat.
Wow.
So yeah. So that's how it started for me. And then when I was 17, finally I decided like to cut out the little bit of meat that I would eat here and there and go vegetarian. But
Mhm.
then at the same time, I got introduced to veganism. And so I bought some books about it. I'm always about self-experimentation. I have to
Oh,
myself. And I was very curious about it. And from the books, it made a lot of sense. So I transitioned from a vegetarian diet to a vegan diet over the course of 1 year. So I gave myself a lot of time to do a slow transition, which I think is so much easier for the body and mind to adapt. And so every month I would pick out like a few things I would usually eat on a day-to-day basis and was looking up like how I could exchange them with a vegan option. And that worked very well for me. So that was like when I was 18, I turned vegan completely. And
got
then
it.
lived like cooked like standard vegan diet, I would
Right.
say, for a few years until finally I like stumbled upon a YouTube video about raw veganism.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, interesting. Because when I turned vegan, I read a book by someone who did like an experiment, and she was vegetarian for 1 month, then the next month vegan, next month raw vegan, and then the next month fruitarian.
Okay.
And when I first read about the fruitarian section, I was like, dude, this sounds ridiculous. Like, who's
Wacky, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Like, what is raw? How sugar, dude? Like, what are you
yeah,
talking
exactly. But then a few years later, I find myself to transition to a raw vegan diet.
dude? And that was the thing, not to cut your story short, but that's the funniest thing is I'll have clients now that'll be like, "What do you mean just eat fruit, dude? Like, I have high A1C or like, I'm type 2 diabetic. I can't just eat fruit." And it's just like, man, I remember feeling like that where I was like scared. I'm like, dude, but I need protein. Like, I need to eat
Yeah.
a piece of meat. I don't really want to, but I need to. And then, so even recently, and I'll let you finish, but even recently, this is what I was going to talk about was I ate meat a couple times, probably like a month ago, after
Mhm.
like being like I'm like 85% raw, and it's mostly fruitarian.
Awesome.
And dude, it slows everything up. You feel terrible. It feeds like the bad bacteria in your gut. You get weird cravings. It's like, but you feel sick like more than anything, you
Yeah,
know?
but it's good because most people don't even know the contrast, you know? Like you make a lot of contrast experiences now, which are very valuable. Like by adopting a high fruit-based diet, you feel so much more light and energetic and clear-minded, and your whole body is just more vibrant, I feel. But then if you go back and you eat some of those old foods like meat and processed foods or like a pizza or whatever, it like slows you down immediately and you feel that drop in energy and you get like brain fog and all of that stuff and digestive issues. But it's very valuable because then you can make a more conscious choice of what you really want and what you desire in life and how you really want to feel, right?
Perfectly said. And that's what I tell my clients too, because they'll be like, I'm really, really craving rice and meat. And it's been, they've been on the diet for, 2 weeks or something. I'm like, go ahead and eat it. Because that's what I tell them. I'm like, go ahead and eat it because you're going to feel your energy go down. You have like your baseline of how good I feel on fruit, like high vibrant, I guess I would say, or
Mm-hmm.
high vibe in general, high energy. And as soon as they eat it, they're like, "Oh my god, I felt terrible, dude. Like I don't want to do that anymore. I feel so good on the fruit." So
Right.
for my clients, it's lemon water in the morning. It's first
Mm-hmm.
thing, then it's a fruit meal around like 30 minutes to an hour after. And that's like the first phase where it's like just do that and you're going to see such dramatic, changes because when it's like in the morning it's like butter, eggs, sausage. It's like
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
how that became like the breakfast grand slam. Like it's like, jeez.
No, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I think it's a good approach like what you're doing there. That's how I transitioned also from like a vegan diet to a raw vegan diet. I transitioned like very slowly over the course of like half a year or so, and I would start out with the breakfast. It's like the easiest meal to
Yeah.
switch. and I would make that a fruit meal. Or in the beginning, I even just ate little bit of fruit, and then afterwards, when I was still a little hungry, I would eat like what I would usually eat. But then I would increase the fruit amount over time until I was like completely fulfilled with fruit and I didn't need anything else afterwards. And once that meal was like well established, I would move on to my lunch and then to my dinner.
That's the perfect way to do it. And that's like, so my coaching program is like there's 4 different phases in like 12 weeks. And like the first phase is literally just like drink lemon water and eat fruit in the morning and don't change anything else.
Yeah,
You don't have to do anything else,
amazing.
and but have you read Atomic Habits? It's a great book if you haven't.
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
oh, it's an awesome book. But basically, they talk about the 1% rule where it's like small incremental
Oh,
changes render massive results.
mhm.
So, when people jump into a diet, which I don't call it that, and I'm sure you don't, it's a new lifestyle, it's a new way of living, it's, unlearning and relearning.
Yep.
And, it's just the small incremental changes make such a drastic difference. So,
Of
the more extreme you are right off the bat, the easier it is to like just be like, forget this, dude, I'm done. I don't want to do it.
it's very unstable, and that's why I wanted and what I do with my clients as well. Like I want that slow transition. Most people are like in the beginning, especially, and I'm sure you experience that too. Like they're very excited, they want the quick results and all of that, but you kind of like have to like slow them down a little bit because yeah, then they are like 100% on the diet for like 2 weeks or so, and then the cravings start happening and so on. And then like, oh, like 3 weeks later, they're on their old habits again.
Of course. Yeah. And the same thing. It's like, as soon as they cheat for one day and then it's like all of a sudden I'm gonna make it 2 days and then 3 days
Yep.
and it's just like a landslide. You know what I mean? So and then they're done. So it's harder the more that you kind of cheat on your diet. And I don't even call it cheating because it's not a diet. Again, I don't tell them that. I don't let them call it that. Um, but I make room for like what's gonna make them happy to fill them along the journey. Because I mean it's hard anytime you transition or you have to like forget everything that you know and unlearn it. It's difficult to like process like I've been eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich forever. I thought it was healthy. You know what I mean? But every
Right.
single ingredient is sugar, inflammatory oils, wheat, gluten. You know what I mean? Like it's a complete and like inflammatory meal. I'm used to with my whole diet. I'm so used to saying anti-inflammatory. I almost called it
Mhm.
anti-inflammatory.
Nice. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, that's why it's so key to like have those like small habit changes, I think, over time. There's another really good book on that. I don't know if you read it or heard about it. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
So my friend has been trying to get me to read that for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely do it. It's
Good one.
amazing.
Yeah, I got you. So that's a good one then. I'll have to pick that one up and then you got to try Atomic Habits. It's a really,
Yeah,
really good one. I think
yeah,
your clients would love that.
cool.
What's the biggest thing that you're offering now? So you have Iridology, and then do you have like a 12-week program, or do you have one-on-one coaching?
Yeah, I have all of it. I have my iridology readings, which are very intensive. They go over your entire like physical body, but also go very deeply into your personality traits. And then based off of that, I offer like individual meal plans, etc., herbal protocols. I have one-on-one coaching, and I have a 12-week protocol or program as well. Yes.
That's awesome. So it's kind of the same standpoint as that I come from is just want to make yourself, available to everybody with the most value as possible. And it seems like we had a call, you were on Jillian's podcast, and I immediately like booked. I was like, this guy's awesome. And then we had an awesome session, so much so that we're friends now and we're gonna be getting going on these Mondays and just trying to give value to everybody again, just free value too, which is kind of rare.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we really have to help each other out, like, especially in these times. It's like a pretty intense time for everyone, I think. And so many people out there are facing like really severe health issues and mental health issues. And I think um, that's why I love this like holistic approach, like with the diet, but then also working on the mind and on our beliefs and perspectives and to like realign everything with our true nature.
It's the truth. And I was talking to my dad today, and it's unfortunate what that generation will go through. I love them to death, but again, as a coach, it's the hardest to, you know, withhold like how you feel about how someone you love is living their life. You know what I mean? When you're like, I've come from this, you know what I mean? And he's got like inflammation in his knee really bad. And I'm watching him eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's where it's coming from. And he
But
likes his food.
you
Go
know, but it's a lot of patience on our side, I think, because the best thing we really can do, of course, is sharing like our experience and our knowledge that we learned. Um, but then not to like push it on someone, especially our family members and friends, etc., but to just lead by example and like be as radiant as we can be, because it will eventually have some influence on them. And that's what I really saw with my family. It was incredible because everyone laughed at first about my diet and like all the changes I did like over the years, and like, oh, just fruit now? Like what ridiculous like thing is that now? And I tried to explain it to them, but they didn't quite get it at first. But then over the years, they saw me being healthy. I was never sick anymore and just full of energy, and I was in a good mood, and at some point they were like, okay, it can't be that bad. And now like both my parents drastically increased their fruit intake. My dad pretty much eats only fruit and veggies and like all good stuff now. He also lives in Paraguay, so it's pretty
Oh
easy.
yeah, okay.
But my mom's also juicing now and eating lots of fruits and veggies in Germany. So it's really cool. Even my grandma got a juicer and she's into it, and it's amazing to see
That's
that.
awesome. And I think when it's their decision, it's so much easier. You know what I mean? There's conviction, there's investment. Other than people will put up that wall and they're like, forget you and what you feel. And that's a big thing of not pushing your beliefs on anybody, but just trying to like nudge them slowly in the right direction. And I
Yeah,
think where we connected so much was I had to message you after. I'm like, it is unbelievable how positive and happy you are. And you told me, and we can get in depth. We don't have unlimited amount of time today. We have so much to talk about in the coming weeks. I'm really excited, but we all have a story too. So we weren't always like this. We weren't always vibrant, and we're still a work in progress. It's like, but that's where the passion comes from. Is like, I know how far I've come, and it's like I see you, and I just want to be able to get you there as well.
thanks, man. Really
Yeah.
that.
So
How did it go for you? Like, how did you got introduced to this whole lifestyle?
yeah. So for me, it was more so I was really into bodybuilding. And
Hmm.
then it was around 17, 18. I always had like super clear skin, like everything was, fine with that. Uh, and then I started breaking out like crazy when I was 18 years old. And
Hmm.
of course I was drinking, heavy whipping cream in my protein shakes and eating
Right.
pizza. And with the old like adage of bodybuilding where it's like never let yourself get hungry. You want to be hammering food, but there's a reason that your body doesn't want to be holding on to that weight or waste. And
Hmm.
so for me, it was just definitely different. And I got into that and I started like looking into holistic healing. I was always healthy. I have a genetic condition where I can't really process certain foods anyways, like red meat, just a bunch of other things where it's like there'll be a buildup of like a compound that my body has to like detox through like sweat, urine, things like that. And it's like it can cause problems. So always have been like healthy, and really it just got me to the point where it was like I was so adamant about what I was putting in my body. But I was healthy, eating chicken and rice and broccoli and things like that. And then, you're still breaking out and you're eating all these processed carbs and things like that. You try to remove fries and stuff. And then, I stumbled upon, I think it was Raw Marabi. Do you know who that is? Yeah. So I stumbled on him and he was talking about like skin issues or something like that and just about fruit. And I'm just like, like I know vegetables are a detox, you know what I mean? I know vegetables are vegetable juice and stuff. And then, you get into realizing how stringent fruits are. And then
Yeah.
you try it. And I'm a guy that's just like you, where it's like, I'm gonna try this and I'm an extremist. I'm gonna do this. And I did it. And I lost like 20 pounds within like a month and a half when I went raw vegan initially. Because I was like 160, 165, like thicker, but really inflamed. You know what I mean? It's your lymph system that's so like filled up. Then I dropped to
Absolutely.
like 145. And but yeah, immediately you know how it is. Like when you start that detox, you're going to the bathroom a lot, you're losing all the waste, and then your skin's clearing up like crazy. You're feeling more like high energy.
Yeah, you're
So
not pumped up anymore. You like
exactly,
open up the drain.
exactly. So and then once you start, it's just if you can describe it anyway, like to someone who's watching, what is it like to finally feel like the high vibrant sea of like fruits? You know?
Yeah. I think, like I think a lot of people can relate it in the way that most people drink coffee, right? And you get like initially that like really high, like vibrant feeling of the coffee, like the simulation in this case. It's kind of like that, like this high feeling, this sharp-mindedness, but without that like shakiness and nervousness. You're still like very calm inside, but you just feel very energetic and you just want to get things done. In my opinion, that's how I felt.
Mhm.
Very productive and motivated. And yeah, it just feels like you have a very amazing state of peace within yourself
Mhm.
this time.
It's the best way of saying it. It's just like I don't know. I The way that you feel like versus like cooked foods, I mean, it's just lower vibration in general. I mean, fruit is such high vibration that the mental clarity, the energy, and it's like you said, it is like drinking coffee, but it lasts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like an all
You
day thing.
don't have this like up and down, this like energetic roller coaster anymore.
Exactly. And most people think, well, fruits like it just heals everything. And it's a common misconception. And it does, and it takes time to get your body into a certain state. But just knowing how you feel now versus then is just it's night and day and you can't go back. You
Right.
know.
And I think another like big topic is like fruits don't they I mean they contribute a lot of good like nutrition, etc., but they don't really heal your body. Your body heals itself. So but you're just stepping out of the way. You don't cause this internal war on a day-to-day basis by putting things into it that cause like this stagnation and inflammation and acidosis. Basically that's where all the problems arise. It's like when we create an acidic environment within our body, right?
That's exactly it. So stagnation is like my favorite word to describe it.
Yeah.
So again, being a paramedic, we get called like 911. So also a fireman, but
Mhm.
so we get called and it's like we'll have people that are like, I got to bring my bag of medications and it's a huge bag and they got, Diet Coke here and Cheez-Its here. And they're like, I just have the worst luck ever. You know what I mean? My health just, God forbid, like it can't be healthy. And it's like, oh man,
Mhm.
so you just want to be able to help as many people as possible. When you see it
Okay.
firsthand, it's like, yeah, you know what's wrong, but
Yeah,
yeah, it can be tough.
it can because no one's promoting it. Like there's no awareness out there, like especially like in the medical field, like what they're recommending is like pretty much the opposite of what is good.
For a
And
reason. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's what it's about. But and it's not even the fault of most of those people either, because that's what they're taught, right? In
They
those
don't
medical
know.
schools. There is no, again, there's no awareness. So can't really blame it on them. But then at the same time, I think it should, like, there is so much knowledge out there on the internet right now. It's accessible to anyone. And I think it's so crucial that we like put ourselves out there with our own experience, but the experience of our clients to really demonstrate and make a point that healing is possible no matter where you are. And yeah, everything is reversible.
It's powerful what you just said because I do feel obviously as a coach you're empathetic just like I am where you really feel that. I think more than not it's people will get to that point. I'm sure you've seen it where they're just like, well, man, I'm too far gone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's no changing it. I'm just gonna stick it and stay stuck in their ways, you know, and they don't want to like let go of it. So there's always, I mean, there's always a time to pivot and move forward with your health. You know, that's the most exciting part about coaching, I think.
absolutely. But then it goes like into our mindset again, because a lot of people out there have a big self-sabotaging system installed in their mind, right? And to like go around that or to uninstall that is also part of the journey to really allow themselves really to heal their bodies and thrive.
Yeah. And
Because
that's
otherwise they will come up with all these excuses all the
oh
time.
yeah. You hear it all the time. Because I mean they want to be right. They're gonna find any excuse to validate. Well, I am this way because of this. You know, it makes sense instead of just being like, well, there's a whole other life that I could live, but I'm just not doing what I need to do.
Mhm.
You know, so it's the biggest thing. I don't know. I love it, dude. I'm pumped, man. We're gonna have some good Mondays coming up.
Absolutely. I love it.
That's awesome, brother. Well, I got this one recorded. I'll be able to kick it on over to you, and then
Cool.
yeah, if there's anything else that you wanted to go over, man, I'm happy to. But
Um, Good question. I think we covered a good amount. It was a good introduction.
yeah, where can people find you? What's your Instagram?
People can find me on Instagram under Fruitful Solution, same on Facebook and YouTube. Yep, and on my website, fruitfulsolution.com.
You got it going on. I'll make sure I put it in the bio too as well. So
Awesome. Thanks.
awesome, Gary. Well, this was awesome, man. Let me know,
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to next Monday as well.
same. Yeah, this is
Awesome.
fun.
That's, all right, buddy. Well, I hope you have a good rest of the day.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Take care.
You too. All right.